Stage 5 of the Santos Tour Down Under took the riders between McLaren Vale and the Wollonga Hill, a chance to see some of the local wildlife high above the vineyards of the McLaren Vale. This a stage which has familiarly become the penultimate stage of the 6-day race, bringing together 136 of riders now bound for the only hilltop finish of the event. Very short neutralised stage as Mike Turter, the race organiser, pulled in the flag and the riders got underway. By the time they got into Wollonga itself for the first visit and they circumnavigated to head back towards Aldinga Beach, the race was on. As 3 riders tried to get away from the field, they would shortly grow to 4. In the breakaway, Nelson Oliveira of Movistar on Portugal, Pim Ligtaert from Lotto, Lars Boom of Astana and Reinhard Janse van Rensburg of Data Dimension. 2 Dutchmen, a Portuguese rider and the South African. Back in the main field, Simon Gerrans was keeping an eye on those nearest to him in the overall classification as they went on to Aldinga Beach for the first time. But by the time they'd been round there twice, the gap was now up to 4.5 minutes. The main field, though, seemingly and rather oddly unconcerned by the length of the gap. Back round to Aldinga Beach again, and the riders were still together, continuing to increase their overall lead. At one stage, they'd had a massive 6 minutes. Pim Ligtaert was the man most likely to, as he started the day just 1 minute 49 seconds behind the race leader Simon Gerrans. So with a lead now of 5 minutes 30, things were looking good. The feeding station, as they returned to Wollonga before they completed the final laps, they would then face up to the first climb of 2. But not before they reached the 103-kilometre point. For the last time on Aldinga Beach, again no sprint by the 3 leaders. They were trying to go the distance. They were trying to ride off the wheel 133 riders. As they came into Wollonga for the last time before they faced the climb itself, they were now going straight up the 3.5-kilometre climb of the old Wollonga Hill. Halfway up it, and Reinhard Janse van Rensburg tried a move. As he continued towards the summit and to claim the points in the first category Subaru King of the Mountains point, he would shortly pass under the finish banner, but not for another 22 kilometres. The field behind, rather strangely, had not really attacked the race leader Simon Gerrans. They just had kept a very fast pace, shedding a few riders behind the peloton. The gap down to 2.5 minutes, a lot of teams were now interested. They were hitting the high spot as the needle tickled at 96 kilometres an hour. Too fast to pedal a bike, the riders just had to streamline out and freewheel down the hill. It seemed for a while that the riders might stay clear for the finish, but once over the top of the hill and with the fast descent and the hard riding by Team BMC, they were in sight of being picked up. And one by one they were wiped out with just 4 kilometres left to ride. Peter Kenyon, the British champion, on the climb in front of his teammate Geraint Thomas. They were trying to get the Colombian rider up there first, Sergei Henao. Then came a very brave move from Lucas Hamilton as the gifted young climber tried to ride and give the Uni SA a perfect present, 25 years of being in being. He was joined, but the whole field were quickly up alongside, and then Richie Porte, who has never lost on this climb for the past 2 years, was now trying to make it 3 wins in a row. Giving it everything he had, he was quickly joined by Sergio Henao and Michael Woods, the 2 riders who had topped the Corkscrew Hill first and second a few days ago. It looked as though it was curtains, but no, it wasn't, because from somewhere Richie Porte found the legs to leave them both and go for gold again. Deja vu, a 3rd year on. Richie Porte getting his first win for his new team BMC, while 6 seconds later Henao was coming home as well. Henao would confirm himself as the overall leader in the King of the Mountains. Richie Porte was happy with the win, but the man who would keep the ochre jersey with a great finish would be Simon Gerrans, already a man who was known winning before.
Well, absolutely, Richie. It's another year. It's a slightly different jersey, but it's the same old Richie Port.
Yeah, look, to be honest, I never expected that one. You know, obviously didn't go to plan yesterday, that little time gap on the line, but then today, BMC guys were absolutely incredible. You know, they backed me here, and which is nice. I mean, I've only just started this team, so it's always nice to win in Australia, and on top of Wollonga, it's, you know, 3 in a row. I'm really happy.
This is a very special place in cycling, but it's a very special place in cycling in Australia, because it's like any of the Grand Tours when you come up this climb.
Yeah, look at, you know, the crowds are just incredible. I think, you know, the Australian public just get behind this race so much, and you know, it really is. It does feel like riding the Tour de France up this climb. It's an incredible feeling.
I think everybody knew what they had to do if they needed to dethrone Simon Gerrans. That was have a hard race from the very start, and everybody threw everything. This was a tough day today.
Yeah, it certainly was, and the calibre of climber that's in this race, it just made that last final ascent extra tough. You know, the 3 guys that attacked off the front, they're some of the best in the world, so it was bloody tough.
And now, yesterday you were a little bit confident going into today's stage, but must feel a lot better now that we've got this Wollonga Hill stage out of the way.
This is the toughest stage of the race, and it's where the GC is generally decided every year, so if I've come out just in front today, hopefully that's enough.
But first, the winner of the stage, Richie Port, for Team BMC. He hopes that this win will also put him amongst the favourites on his team for a high spot in the Tour de France. His reason for leaving the side of Chris Froome and Team Sky. But for the man in charge, he's won the race 3 times. He's set for now to win it for 4 times. Simon Gerrans takes the final Oka Leaders jersey to Adelaide, where he hopes to convert it tomorrow to a winner's jersey. He leads by 9 seconds.